We are at Thomas Gainsborough School in Sudbury, and we are here to talk to the students about Health Watch Suffolk. So we're telling them about what we do.
Health Watch Suffolk have come in to educate us about mental health services in Suffolk.
And we're going around brainstorming ideas about different health issues like sexual health, mental health, self-harm.
We've spoken about issues like eating disorders and about what they mean to us and where we think we'd go for help and how it could be improved in school.
And what we're doing with the information is we're going to put it all together in a report and feed it back to the providers and hopefully help to improve the services for young people in Suffolk. I think they started off with a little bit of stigma around some of the ideas, a little bit of embarrassment, but what we've done is we've moved them around from different stations, and that activity seems to kind of open them up, and they're all being really honest and sharing some really good comments with us.
We are unity and diversity. We try to unify the diverse groups, find out if any concerns within the group, and see what we can do in order to challenge and make a difference.
We're working with the young people today to develop a drama which they will act out, because it's going to demonstrate some of the issues and raise more awareness around that really, and the stigma around mental health.
Because we feel drama is a great way of allowing people to go on a journey without actually going through the emotions.
I think it's a much more powerful message if the students are actually involved in delivering the message, so it's a bit more engaging when their own peers, their own friends and students are up there on the stage developing a drama, illustrating what we do.
People have the opportunity to voice their opinions, and we'll be able to learn from that, find out if it's working and people are using the services, and if it's not, then listen to the young people, because they're the ones who are going to be using it in the future.
Good mental health and good mental well-being for me means that you would be able to openly talk to someone about problems you're facing. For example, for me, I would be able to go talk to my family or the school or my friends to have help and support that I need.
Good mental health means being able to carry on with your day with a smile on your face, with nothing wearing you down, being able to carry on normally and not be feeling like you're isolated.
If you have good family and friends around you and you feel like a stable person.
What it's called, like the word mental in front of it, I think people get a bit scared of it because of what it's called, and they might feel like they're like a freak or not able to talk to someone about it because they don't want to feel out of place in society. Well, good mental health to me, it means like you're not stressed or anything, you're like completely comfortable within yourself, like you don't have to worry about much.
I'd tell them to either look on the internet, because on there you can find loads of great resources and you could also go to the doctors, because they can always tell you to go to certain places that can give you the best help as possible.
If my friend had a mental health problem that was severe, like suicidal feelings that required immediate action, I'd tell them to go to A&E, but if it was something that could wait, then I'd tell them to go to their GP.
If my friend had a mental health problem in Suffolk, I would probably tell their parents, because I think their parents would be concerned and would want to know. But I'd also probably tell someone like a social worker, because they can help people out.
I would tell them to go to the school nurse, because when I went there, they were really helpful. They told me what to do, and they told me where to go from there after I spoke to them. They were very good in not letting my parents know, and it really made me feel happier and safer with who I was talking to.
Something that might stop me is travel. So if, for example, it was in Ipswich, I might struggle to get there if my family are busy. But if it's somewhere more local like the school or in my village, it's easy for me to get to.
If I was embarrassed, or if my friend was embarrassed, maybe if they don't know enough about the situation they're in, or they don't know where to go.
I've heard that if someone reaches out for a mental health issue that's severe, the people that they reach out to could tell their parents, and most young people don't want their parents to know because they may think that they'd be viewed as weak or just not being able to cope, and there's a lot of stigma attached to mental health issues.
The things that stop people from going to mental health services is that they're scared, they think that they're alone and they're the only people that feel that way.
Just knowing that someone knows that you're going there, it just would be a bit daunting.
It can be really hard because you're trying to follow the crowd, and that you're trying to be cool, keep your reputation up, and that can also affect how you assess those issues.
If they did develop an app, I probably would use it, That way it's like support for me, and if anyone else needs it, I can then show them it and let them use it, and it'll help them.
If the mental health services created an app, I wouldn't use it because it's online, so I can't actually speak to anyone.
I don't think many people would use it. If a parent notices that there's a mental health app on there, they may jump to conclusions very quickly and assume that their child is mentally unwell, when in reality they could be researching for a friend, and it'd just be too risky.
If there was an app, I probably would use it, but as long as I knew that it was going to be 100% confidential and no one was going to judge me or come back with any horrible comments or anything like that.
If they developed an app, I would use it because I think it gives you your own personal space, and normally teenagers are normally on their phones, so you wouldn't have to directly speak to people.
I would definitely use it. I mean, it really helps, especially with school now. It does have a lot of stress on me, and it would presumably say ways on how to deal with things, and it would be a whole lot of help.
Things like mental health aren't really spoken about a lot at school. You don't get taught about it, so it kind of informs people about it.
People might be involved, sexually active, and they want to ask questions but they don't know where to go to ask them. So the kind of play gives people the option to where to go to ask the questions.
Characters in the mental health one, especially the main character, is very believable. He's got many dimensions and he's helping us consider about mental health, which is a big issue at the moment.
Characters are all a similar age to people playing them, so that allows us to relate to the characters because they represent us and the problems that we go through at our age.
I know people who would be in a similar situation at school, and you can feel pressured sometimes into doing things you don't necessarily want to do.
Well, I've kind of learnt about the service Health Watch and how it works because I hadn't really heard of it before.
I think it gives a good insight into how you can get help, which I didn't really know before, but now I understand where to go and how to get different help.
It will raise awareness and show that a lot of people go through it and you can get help from it.
It also is a way of telling people about it that relates to them in real life, it's a real scenario.
Anxiety needs to be covered in some of these things because a lot of people have anxiety problems at this age, and if it's not covered, we don't know how to fix it.
This is kind of covering it all really, apart from stress and exams.
Exam stress, because it's an important subject that people have to go through.
Yeah, especially when you're doing your GCSEs, everyone's put under a lot of stress to revise for all their subjects.
I'm deputy head teacher of the school, but equally my role in the school is student support. And so, getting involved in Health Watch was a no-brainer for the school. We take a holistic approach to our students, so that was really important.
As a governor of the school, I'm here to support the staff and the pupils in presenting to us, but also just as an individual to be more aware of what's going on and what support is out there for young people with problems.
Well, I work at the local police station here in Suffolk, and I'm on the Safer Neighbourhood team, and we come into the schools and deal with young people, so it's really interesting to learn as much as we can.
For me in school, it's important that we actually look at the lower levels. So when students are just sort of suffering from stress, so maybe they get help then rather than sort of at the other end where things are more desperate. Prevention rather than cure.
I'm just aware that there's not much support out there. There's certainly not a lot of funding out there, and so it's really about what there is available for anybody who's experiencing problems and signposting them to where to go.
It's about providing accessible services. There is a gap in actually students getting practical help. It's a really difficult area, so I think more available services and quicker.
It's really important to start getting young people engaged a lot more with services and just knowing exactly what it is that's out there that can support them and help them, and also to focus on kind of building resilience between children, so knowing that they can support each other and that they can use their families as a resource, because that's how you're really going to get long-term change, I think.
I think more SRE in schools. We go into assemblies and do talks with year 11s about sexual health and can cover things like healthy relationships, and that's really important that schools cover that kind of stuff.
I believe that the main area that the children and young people should work on is actually recognising that it actually is a problem and feeling the confidence that they are able to speak up about the problem, whether that be to a teacher, a youth worker or even the police.
It's having information available, so it's having a signposting service, it's having people like the school nurses where they can call in and speak to them, and obviously an education thing in our enrichment days. I suppose by being very open about them so that they feel it's something that they're not experiencing alone, that they feel that there are other people around there with similar problems, and again just making sure that the information is available in their school to help them in whatever situation they're facing.
So it's that regular drip feeding of constant reinforcements about the message, and also about there's someone there to help. And even if it's just coming to a tutor, a teacher, one of our learning mentors just to talk, I think that's half the battle.
And I think it's really just providing safe environments where the whole school is on board in doing that, for children to be able to discuss it openly and then use each other to work through some of the issues and what they could do to help make things change.
Everyone has a story to tell. Share yours with Health Watch Suffolk.
Everyone has a story to tell. Share yours with Health Watch Suffolk.
Everyone has a story to tell. Share yours with Health Watch Suffolk.
Everyone has a story to tell. Share yours with Health Watch Suffolk.
Everybody has a story to tell. Share yours with Health Watch Suffolk.